Hello everyone, and now welcome to another 4v4 human versus night elf matchup. Yumiko spawning as the red human here, meanwhile Infi spawning here, Romantic spawning here, and then finally Sock spawning here, all on the southern side. They will be going up against Colorful spawning there, La Layette spawning here, Moon spawning there, and Kaho spawning here. All right, named all the names, didn't even try to bother with positions as, well, we perhaps know what is in store. Night Elf players getting that late Ultra of Elders for a Tavern Hero. Human players going for Archmage and Mountain King combinations based on their positioning. Archmage and Blood Mage first, interestingly. So Sock opting to go for Blood Mage first just in case we see that same Pandemonium strategy by the 4 Night Elf players. 4 human versus 4 Night Elf. Yeah, all previous game. If you didn't see it, go check out my channel, CrotaGaming. It will be uploaded later for all, well, the 10 of you who are watching on Twitch and maybe the 2 of you who didn't get to see it earlier. All right, pandas. Well, walking out across the battlefield. 4 pandas walk into a human base, and they found a bunch of dead footmen and peasants. Here we are, here we go. There's a breath of fire, there's a breath of fire, and well, the arcane tower is just a little bit too far back. Are we going to see another breath of fire here trying to blow through, trying to touch all of those units? The panda actually are able to get inside. There's another breath of fire, and more units coming across here. Blood Mage gets up to level 2 and says, surprise, your mana is already mine. Once the pandas are out of mana, well, the pandas just suddenly are much, much weaker. Mountain King could try and go for a Stormbolt here, but there's no low hit point panda that's within range. Units are already retreating back. Meanwhile, Ancient of War creeping alongside the snappers here, trying to get in, try to get a little bit more experience as the Brewmasters are just continuing to just try to blow things wide open with all of this harassment. Brewmaster taking quite a bit of damage here. Mountain King trying to get inside as well. And what can really happen? Another round of Breath of Fire, perhaps across some of those peasants. There goes one unit there as Colorful's, well, Colorful's Brewmaster gets taken out. Mountain King still has a couple of bullets in the chamber. Do we just let these Brewmasters fall? Ooh, Stormbolt taking away some of that precious mana. Stormbolt used in time in the quarter of a second as the Mountain King gets a Stormbolt off here. Brewmaster isn't going to get finished off. Yes, it will, giving level 2 to Yumiko's Mountain King. Level 1 heroes resurrect very quickly, and sometimes if you just take too much damage, it's just not worth it. Better to just save the Moonwell and try and fight another day. Archmage, Blood Mage fighting here. Flame Strike causing the archers to try and dance around. They're able to get out of that damage quickly as Colorful's Panda already back in action. Coming back around on Blood Mage, Archmage holding off to the side here. Do we see text tier 2? Yes, by Romantic. Romantic with the fast tech to tier 2. Infi still at tier 1, but with an Expo already up and running. Meanwhile, Yumiko now teching the tier 2. Night Elf bases, we are at Tree of Life. Tree of Life going to Tree of Ages, Tree of Life going to Tree of Ages, and finally Tree of Life as a Flame Strike early on by Sock, trying to cause problems, perhaps take down some of these key critical buildings. But how are you using your time? That is what's really the defining factor of these fights so far. Putting pressure on taking out a couple of Moonwells, but your opponent is able to clear out creep camps, gain gold from those creep camps and items. Well, that's a very fruitful endeavor still. In comes a Flame Strike. Low hit point Huntress trying to back away. Both sides fighting. More Siphon mana. No more mana on that Brewmaster. Wow, one more hit onto this Altar of Elders. It finally gets taken down. More Siphon mana here. Who's taking all of the pressure here as the Blood Mage or the Brewmaster could try and, well, not going to use that Potion of Greater Mana to finish off that Blood Mage. Able to back up here. Now, back on the east side, more fighting. Huntress is not chasing after all of these low hit point footmen as they choose to fall back. A lot of low hit point footmen here. Perhaps Scroll of Regeneration is in order as we're making their way across. All right, in comes Yumiko, who does have a little healer brought to the battle. Both sides fighting their way again. Meanwhile, creeping now underway off to the north as well. Lalayet having that Brewmaster just tank a lot of damage again. All right, the Scroll of Regeneration Footman may be ready to join in on a fight again soon. There is this Fountain of Health, or it's a Fountain of Power in the center of the map. There is a level 9 and level 8 creep there. If you do try and fight there, you may find that, well, it's hazardous to your health, as it is very easy to get creep jacked in those positions. All right, Ancient Protector about to get taken down. Archmage, are we going to see another Flame Strike there? Yes, all those wisps trying to back away, but, well, no reason for that Flame Strike any longer, since the repairs are not necessary. One Footman down, another Footman down. Drunken Haze, Breath of Fire, damage over time, down to 53 hit points, as, well, the Goblin Alchemist now here to try and bring in some healing spray. Coming back around, well, a lot of low hit point Footmen could turn into a lot of experience for this Kaho's Brewmaster. Units getting taken down slowly as the Mountain King and Archmage both forced to try and retreat tactically. All right. Brewmaster looking to finish off another Footman. There goes one more. Huntresses, are they going to even, well, finish off this, Rifleman. Rifleman trying to dance past this Panda, not getting the job done at all. And one or two more shots should finish it off. There it goes. Archmage, Blood Mage, two Goblin Alchemists, while clearing out some easy creep camps, trying to level up those skills. Brewmaster of Moon sitting at level 3. Ancient of War was coming around the corner, perhaps trying to get himself ready and set up to tank more damage, perhaps try and get that Brewmaster of Moon to a higher level. We are looking at Tree of Ages, nearing Tree of Eternity. Difficult to, well, figure out how many heroes each side has, but still a great game here. Storm Reaver, Hermit, don't even know the spells that particular mercenary has. Yeah. Both sides trying to fight. All right. Lalayet engaging here. Moon is here as well. Both sides trying to get into a good spot, break up onto that high ground. And are we going to see some Dryads poking down after some of those Footmen? There's a Breath of Fire across multiple units as the Brewmaster tries to break the chain again, as the Blood Mage still has a large amount of mana. Meanwhile, down to the south side here, Huntresses, well, Huntresses of Colorful really starting to push through against Romantic Space. Romantic Space is actually very sparse as well, they're unable to push in on Colorful Space. So Colorful somehow finding out that these back bases are not very easily, or are not defended easily, able to pick apart all of these peasants here. We see some pressure fighting here by Infi, but Infi has to deal with Moon and also this Ancient Protector, which is dealing out pretty decent damage. All right, Kaho comes across. There's a Breath of Fire. Storm Reaver unit getting cleaned up here. There's a, well, massive Thunderclap, but now this Mountain King needs a little bit more mana in order to continue the fights here. Meanwhile, one Mortar team in the back trying to lob attacks, or two Mortar teams trying to lob attacks against all of these Dryads here, but the Mortar teams are getting cleaned up once more. Another big Thunderclap, well, racking up damage against all of these units. Low hit point Huntress is going to be able to back away. More Mortar teams are getting lost as the pressure is still mounting here. All right, more damage. Well, there's another Breath of Fire. Archmage or Alchemist continuing the fight. Mountain King going to go, well, no, Staff of Teleportation inbound from the Blood Mage. Blood Mage shows up and now ready to give perhaps a little bit more mana to that Mountain King to give more bullets into the chamber and take units down. Meanwhile, down to the south here, Colorful trying to show back up here. There's a Breath of Fire trying to take down a bunch of these farms again, and Colorful taking down Romantic's base here, not allowing for any mining. Meanwhile, Blood Mage comes in with a Flame Strike, trying to, well, clean things up against this Ancient Protector off over here, and, well, damage is going to rack up a bit more again. All right, Mortar Team's able to continue to lob attacks here. Blood Mage still has enough for another Flame Strike if necessary. And, well, losing all of these Moonwells is definitely going to hurt Kaho, as healing is going to be that much more difficult. Not yet upside down on supply, but could easily get there. Meanwhile, Huntress army is trying to engage against the Riflemen here. Both sides fighting their way through. There is a Stormbolt Thunderclap onto the Brewmaster. Brewmaster going to get a Breath of Fire across a couple of Riflemen. That's going to be some easy damage, finishing those units off. Infi trying to heal those Riflemen again. More Siphon mana. And wow, that Brewmaster getting absolutely drained of mana pretty quickly as Flame Strikes are going around. And Rifleman shots are pushing across with all of this pressure. Infi able to place down pressure onto Kaho's base again. It's getting slowly chipped away as Colorful is just playing this this game of just trying to snipe down bases and fighting where your opponent is not. Meanwhile, we're looking at Romantic trying to do something similar. There are a couple of Ancient Protectors here with more still being built. Nothing a couple of Mortar Teams couldn't fix, as we see a Scroll of Town Portal to try and have a tactical retreat. All right, a couple of Dryads getting cleaned up here. It looks as though the Brewmaster will be forced to fall back. Infi's economy pretty much in shambles. Romantic's base completely lost. No more main hall. Inbound Scroll of Town Portal. All right, Lalayet shows up to the party. Dryads are getting picked across. Brewmaster wants to get some Drunken Haze Breath of Fires off as they're trying to get into position. There's more Breath of Fire blowing on through. Scrolls of Healing galore by the human army. There's another Breath of Fire. There's another, more Breath of Fire adding on through. And Healing Spray trying to keep these Riflemen alive. Archmage of Romantic, tactical retreat back out, will be able to get, where is Romantic space? There's Socks there. No, that's Yumiko. No Name? Where is No Name? Sock, No Name down there. Yumiko there. Infi there. All right. Romantic's base was lost. Scroll of Town Portal to his Expo, I guess, now taking the tier 2. Infi does have a corner base here. Nightelf does have Lalayet does have an Expo on the top left side. So in terms of base count, I believe it is still 5-5, unless I'm missing something on the minimap. Nope. Sock just trying to set up another one. Not quite there. All right, Goblin Zeppelin play, able to drop in, and it's going to be able to snipe down the Tree of Life. One more shot, one more rally. Yes, it is. And now suddenly Kaho is in some serious trouble as the Goblin Zeppelin, able to deliver the goods and get in the snipe kill here. Front damage, back damage galore. Panda comes in. Drunken Haze. Are we going to see a Breath of Fire? Yes, there's that Breath of Fire. One Rifleman most likely lost in that burn as we're looking once more. Colorful's base getting pressured across. All right. 4v4 matchup is absolutely crazy when everyone actually works together on the same page, and that's exactly what we're seeing in this 4v4 human versus night elf matchup. Strategies of just using mass pandas and putting pressure on early, trying to maximize that damage. Colorful coming across here. There's a Breath of Fire trying to go up against all of these peasants again. Are we just going to wait for the Brewmaster to, blow over all of these units once more? But now that there is the Goblin Alchemist with the Healing Spray, there's a Breath of Fire. There goes 1, 2, 3. All right, even with the Healing Spray, that Panda does deal quite a bit of damage, finishing off all the units and saying, you know what? I can go ahead and slowly bow out. Huntresses now heading over, trying to take down this keep here. Romantic, are we going to see a tactical Scroll of Town Portal in order to retreat? That does appear to be the case. There's, Flame Strike, damage, and, all those units will be able to head back out. Romantic holds onto his base ever so barely. Colorful has been just absolutely destroying the economy of the human army. That Panda with constant Breath of Fire able to put pressure seemingly endlessly as the Snarecaster looks to avenge his friends, but unable to do so. All right. I would have loved to have seen the fountain of power in the center actually cleared out. A single fountain giving hit points and mana could become a very big, well, point of interest. Just bring your units back into that location whenever they are low on hit points and, well, heal back up. Meanwhile, we're looking at this Tree of Ages trying to get repaired back up. It is going to get back up to a decent amount of hit points, but is Colorful going to be able to hold this next onslaught? Brewmaster backing away, sitting at level 5, just shy of level 6. Brewmaster of Lawliet sitting at level 5. There's some more flame strikes going down once more as in comes the rest of the Night Elf army from the far side. We're looking at a possible flank here, just trying to shut things down. Is this Colorful rinsing and repeating that same strategy over and over? Of course it is. All right, Colorful putting pressure with the Panda on one side, with Night Elf units on the other, or just the Huntresses on the other, as Moons, well, Druids of the Claw suffering large amounts of damage, Flame Strike, and AoE retreating, just trying to get back away. Meanwhile, more siphon mana. The Blood Mages seemingly love these Druids of the Claw, can constantly siphon mana, always have mana to give someone else, as the Blood Mage now looks to retreat back here. Earthstorm and Fire in plays, tactical retreat necessary, as we're looking at the Archmage at level 4 of Infi now backing up here. How about Romantic? Romantic does not have a Scroll of Town Portal there or there, may need to just fall back and walk back home. Meanwhile, Colorful's Brewmaster falling back here. Romantic somehow, well, I guess Sock's Blood Mage was able to provide support for Romantic's Expo. All right. Huntresses once more looking to retreat back out. More damage coming across. Mortar teams able to, well, land back down. Kaho not even mining this spot any longer. So that's a bit of an uphill climb. Meanwhile, Colorful is still putting in all of this pressure, going after all of these peasants. And now with an Orb of Venom, able to get in a little bit of damage over time across these units. Center portion. All right, Night Elf. Moon gonna go ahead and try and engage here. You can see, I guess that's a thunderstorm, maybe the ability here. I forget who with the Berserk Elemental, maybe channeling it, or no, it was that Storm Reaver guy. Scroll of Town or Staff of Teleportation backing out here. Fountain of Power. Well, remember, is healing everything out on the map all at once, as the main battle here, Goblin Zeppelins continuing to just try and snipe down buildings and, well, get good pressure and position. A massive Breath of Fire here, Scroll of Healing trying to counteract. Moon could, if he's able to get another big Breath of Fire, no longer, as all of these units able to Breath of Fire. One priest didn't get enough hit points, as all of these units retreating back once more. All right. Sock putting in pressure here. There's a Flame Strike. Staff of Teleportation inbound. There's an army right there. Pandas showing up to the party, ready to get in a couple of stuns with the Goblin Tinker. And now the Brewmasters want to try and blow things over again. There's another Flame Strike here. The Night Elf army passing through the fire and flames still, as one Brewmaster not going to be so lucky. Well, takes a very quick trip back to the Altar of Kings, or Tavern. Back down to the south side here. Colorful, well, no longer able to put in easy pressure on Romantic's Expo with an Arcane Tower and 2 Guard Towers. That's more than enough to at least slow down the harassment of the Brewmaster and these Huntresses. All right, are we going to be looking at more tactical attacks again? More mortar teams dropping from the sky, being able to snipe down buildings. Colorful's Brewmaster, well, out of mana completely, walking back to the north. What is he just trying to do? Just trying to walk back the old-fashioned way and, well, head back home. Colorful's base is pretty sparse. Main gold mines, well, about 4 minutes of mining left. In comes Moon's Night Elf army, ready to put pressure into Yumiko's base once more. Meanwhile, Flame Strike finding a good number of Druids of the Claw in the back. However, it looks like they're going to be fine for at least a little while, as now Blizzard is raining down on them. All right, Lawliet needs to retreat with those Druids of the Claw, now suffering a little bit more damage than he may have expected. He wants to bring those units back. Again, another Staff of Teleportation. Oh, There, Colorful finding a way to put in pressure and has once again, taken down Infi's Expos here. All right. Meanwhile, Tree of Ages could suffer a lot of damage. We see Scroll of Protection brought around as well. Mortar teams just lobbing attacks against this Tree of Ages. Tree of Ages is about to fall, and that could be a problem again. Colorful. Are we looking at what? Who just lost another main hall? And Colorful losing the majority of his buildings now. All right, there is places to hang out in the center. That Fountain of Power, so incredibly powerful to try and regain hit points and mana. Nightelf now seemingly having, who has the advantage here? Human army pushing in heavy pressure, shutting down buildings. No expo, no mining here or here, as the mortar teams, with their 2-0 upgrades, able to deal large, significant damage. Back across on the other side, though, both Infi and Romantic lost their main bases. They have one expo here. Is this another expo? No, Infi losing that expo as well, as we see some more healing spray coming across again. All right. Okay, so Yumiko's currently the only human that doesn't have a mining base, I believe. Difficult to keep track of everything. This Tree of Life in the back should really get lobbed down quickly. Try to take down any source of income so that Lalayette cannot bounce back in at all. Moon leaving one archer in the base here. Blood Mage falls at level 3. As well, this expo and this base now all cleaned up. Brewmaster trying to retreat back out. The anti-magic shell could work here. There's some siphon mana trying to break that connection again. And, well, Lalayette trying to hold out there with 2 minutes left in this base here. Meanwhile, down to the south, Huntresses are just putting in pressure, and it looks like Lalayette trying to take over a previous base. Blizzard or Flame Strike now coming across here. Mana Flare, Breath of Fire across the board. Mortar teams trying to, well, find ways to deal damage. Rifleman trying to fight back as the Night Elf also comes in from a pincer attack from behind. Flame Strike taking down a couple of Druids of the Claw. There goes one. Dryads are getting absolutely blasted by the mortar teams, but the lines are all broken, so everyone is suffering heavy casualties now. Druids of the Claw here, are they going to be able to survive with decent hit points? Well, if you survive, you survive, and that's what they are doing. They could perhaps head over to the Fountain of Health now, as this base pretty much not going to get up and running again either. Only a couple of farms here, but those are going to easily get cleaned up once more. Blood Mage falling, Mountain King falling again. All right, Druids of the Claw, Huntresses cleaning up the remainder of, well, Yumiko's base here. Meanwhile, this little outpost by Yumiko setting up farms, this is all going to get cleaned up as well. And I believe Night Elf is going to be taking the win. There's the leave by Yumiko, and that should be it. There goes Sock and everyone else. A beautiful, crazy game. But Moon, Lalayette, Colorful really this time carrying the game much, much further. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below.